Hey, what's going on, everybody? TaylorMade Hoops coming to you live and direct once again. Come with TaylorMade Hoops Coach's Corner. I'm live in Oak Cliff, Texas at South Oak Cliff High School. I'm here with the great James Mays here, retired. I'm gonna say retired. He's still working, but retired, retired AD and head coach at South Oak Cliff High School. Let me go ahead and give you Coach Mays' rundown. He's very humble, so he's probably gonna be looking like, "Come on, Ed," but these are the facts. Coach Mays was the head coach at South Oak Cliff High School from 1999 to 2025, amassing a record of 634 wins and only 226 losses. He won 4 consecutive state championships. You heard me, unheard of in today's time. 4 consecutive straight championships. I mean, he went back to back to back to back. 5 total trips to the state tournament, 9 regional tournament appearances, countless coaching accolades, and he coached numerous professional and collegiate players. And like I said before, also we don't want to sell him short that he also served 13 years as the athletic director at South Oak Cliff High School. How you doing, Coach Mays?
Pretty good, Ed. Pretty good. Thank you so much for coming.
Oh man, and Coach, I'm just honored just to talk with you, man. Speaking about your legacy, your history on and off the court, Coach. Let's go ahead and let the viewers know, Coach. Today, what we'll be talking about, discussing the objectives and points of conversation with Coach Mays. We'll be talking about his coaching and administration career, his influence on and off the court. He was going to give us some advice for young coaches, and he's going to tell us his life after basketball, man. what he got going on after basketball. He's probably going to run after serving 34 years with the kids. He's probably going to run, but we going to see Coach Mays. Well, Coach, first question, Coach. For the people tuning in, Coach, man, where did you grow up in your athletic and your educational journey, Coach?
I grew up right here in Dallas, Texas. In fact, right down the street. I grew up on Fortune Lane. FLB for life.
Yes,
my first Fortune Lane brothers down there, and I actually went to school here. I went to elementary school, T.D. Marshall, Claire Oliver, Bow Story. Went to back then it was called South Oak Cliff Annex, which is now Todd Middle School, formerly Zoomwalk Middle School, but it was the 9th grade center when I went. And then the next year, the 10th grade year, I came up here, spent 1 year, and unfortunately I had to transfer my 11th and 12th grade year, got in some trouble. And my mama made it, making my offer you can't refuse type of deal. And so, but I did play my ball down here. So that was that for high school. For college, I went to Prairie View A&M University, the great Prairie View A&M University. So I got there in '83, fall '83. I stayed there to fall '89. Spring '89. I'm a spring '89 graduate. Stayed there. I was on extended plan. Stayed 6 years.
I was gonna point that out, Coach.
But it was a reason for that. And I guess everything works out for a reason. I went down there and majored in engineering for the first 2 years.
Okay.
Architecture engineering. And so that got kind of rough because I wasn't disciplined. And then I switched back over to business, where it was ironically when I left South Oak Cliff, I went to Business Management Center.
I remember that.
Now it's called Townview, but back then it was BMC, Business Management Center. And so I originally studied general merchandising.
Okay.
And so when I went to school, I should have went straight back to, well, it would have been a good idea to go straight into business, which I graduated from business. But then I went into engineering. That wasn't for me. Then I switched back over to business after 2 years. So I lost 2 whole years of college. When I switched my major. Okay. And so it took me 4 years then to finish, and I finished. But so that was life after Prairie View. That was life doing Prairie View. Then when I left Prairie View, I came back to Dallas.
Okay.
And so that was my whole journey through that whole lifetime of education.
Well, Coach, I'm just going to ask you this, Coach. So what was your reasoning, Coach, when you graduated from high school for business magnet school or what have you, you went to PB? What was you thinking of switching over, Coach, to architect or what have you? What was you thinking on that, Coach?
Well,
you tired of business?
Well, no, it wasn't that. It was a wish, to be honest, to be transparent. It was something my mama wanted me to do. Yeah. And of course, we all want to please our mom, and she hyped that up for his engineering, the money they can make, and that whole deal. And so I tried it. But then it wasn't for me, which is a life lesson. Sometimes you got to go with what's comfortable for you instead of what's comfortable for somebody else.
But another good point you brought up for these kids to know, man. I always tell them coaches that don't be afraid to try something. Don't be afraid to step out your comfort zone. Don't be afraid to fail, because you didn't fail, coach, because you actually end up succeeding because you found out what it is that you really want to do. And think about it, coach, if you would never tried in the back of your head, you always been thinking like, man, what if? What if?
See, so the what if was taken out. And to be honest, even though I spent 2 years in the architectural program, those 2 years later on in my journey was probably some of the most valuable time that I spent for architecture, because it came right back into play. And so I did work in that area even after I had switched my major. So later on, so it came value even to a project like the South Oak Cliff project.
Yes, sir.
I had an architecture background.
There you go, coach.
And so I was able to answer a lot of questions and understand a lot of the things that they were explaining to us when doing this building project phase. And so it served me well, very well.
So mama's always right, huh?
Oh, mama's always right. She's always right, always right.
Well, hey, for my viewers tuned in on TaylorMade's Hoops Coaches Corner, you can tell I'm very, very excited. I'm sitting here with Coach James Mays, retired head coach at South Oak Cliff High School and also athletic director. We're just chopping up how we do it on TaylorMade Hoops Coaches Corner. Let me ask this, Coach. Growing up in this area, I kind of know the answer to this question, but what role did athletics play in your life growing up? How important was playing sports? Coach?
Oh man, it was big. And I'll tell this story. I'm glad you asked these questions too, because a lot of people, didn't know. But I grew up in a coaching family. That's my background. So my dad was a coach. All of my uncles, aunties, they was very heavily involved in the athletics, even coaching themselves.
Okay.
Have a big time cousin down in Marlin, Texas. You probably never heard of Marlin, Texas, but it's right outside of Waco.
Yes, sir.
But Leo Green is my cousin, and Leo Green is a legendary coach at Marlin High School. He's retired now, obviously, but he's in the coaching tree in our family, and we have several other coaches. So I actually grew up in that coaching fraternity, and so even all the stadiums, my dad was an AD and head coach on the middle school level, and so I was always in the stadiums. I can remember running around Cobb Stadium, not the new Cobb,
old school Cobb,
the old Cobb
Yes, sir.
off of 35 in Oak Lawn right there, where the Infomart sits right there. Cobb Stadium used to be right there. I can remember when Lowe's was new. It was the Ellis Davis of its day. And I can remember a lot of days and time spending out there with my dad, because he's coaching at Russ Middle School, Cary Middle School later on, AD. And so he's coached some very, very influential and famous people. In fact, I don't know if you remember, Kyler Murray.
Yes, I do.
But my dad coached his dad, which is Kevin Murray, who later on went to A&M.
Okay.
And I got a chance to travel and watch those teams, watch them play and stuff like that, just being around the game. And so I was deep involved in that. As far as my sports background, just like most kids in Oak Cliff back in that time, we all played Little League. So played Little League probably, early 9, 10 years old. Played down here at the Moreland YMCA. I played everything. You played everything, man. You went from football to basketball to baseball to track to soccer. We did all of it. And so I played all of that all the way up to the 10th grade. And then with 9th grade, really. And then I came up to soc. The only sport that I played here at soc was baseball. I played for Coach Applewhite. And so I was a baseball player by I guess trade or whatever. Okay. But I was real good in football. I was a quarterback on the football team ever since I played. All the way up, actually to the 10th grade, because you could play all the way up back then on the A team. You went all the way to the 10th grade. So I played up there. Played basketball. Pretty good basketball player too. Baseball was my sport though. So I played all of that. But and I guess one of my biggest regrets, even then, I should have went on and at least tried to play for the school. I didn't play football because of my size. I was a small guy, and so back then in the soccer, we was a powerhouse. We had all the named players, and if you couldn't play at soccer, you transferred. Hillcrest, Skyline, W.T. White, Thomas Jefferson. This area was supplying the whole city with top athletes. And so I was discouraged from going out there and actually play because of my size, because they sort of had so many big kids. And so I just continued to play Little League until that road ran out for football and basketball. And then obviously baseball, I could play that sport because size really, it wasn't a factor. In baseball, it was about skill. And so I could throw, I was a pitcher in second baseman. And so I played that. Even when I transferred up, I still played. And then I went to Prairie View and played baseball at Prairie View. So it was a good journey. And it was something that all of it served me well. So that's my sports background. And my love eventually for basketball won out.
Okay.
That's how I ended up in basketball.
Well, I'm gonna get you on that, Coach. Most definitely how you end up, being a baseball guy, but like you said, growing up playing everything, but end up, coaching basketball, man, getting over 600 wins, Coach. Coach, let me ask this, Coach. Move to the next question. When did you realize that you wanted to be a coach? I know you say coaching in the background, like you say, from the womb. Dad was a coach, been around it, so was this one of the things?
Well, I'm gonna tell you like this, Ed. It was like this. I had a lot of loves growing up, and I really didn't want to be a coach.
Why?
I really didn't want to, even though I watched it, I was around it, and I knew the workings of it, the in and outs of it, the grind. I knew all of that, and then I also knew teaching was tied to it, and I didn't want to teach. And so I didn't want to teach, and so but it was an experience in college. Now I say I was playing baseball, and then I also played in the band in college too, which was a huge experience. I played in the band at South Oak Cliff also in the 9th and 10th grade year. So I was a member of the band, a drummer, and so that's how a lot of people remember me too, being in the band and stuff like that, because I would stand out in band also. Real stand out. And so, but I did everything. I was what you would call today well-rounded. And so my love for that. And so I went to Prairie View. I played in the Storm. So I'm a Storm member, BOX box.
Yes, sir.
So I did that for about 2 or 3 years. Strange. There's this funny story attached to that too. Only reason I got in the band at Prairie View because I thought band days was over after high school, especially after I had to transfer from South Oak Cliff. But the Prairie View started paying band members back in like '86. And I was at Prairie View and I was broke. I didn't have no money. I needed some money.
College student.
And they was paying us $100 a month, give you a stipend. That's how broke I was. Man, I went and signed up so quick and tried out. I got that $100 a month. And so, and that's how I ended up back in the band.
But you actually ended up enjoying it.
Yeah, I enjoyed it, man. And that experience right there, it brought a whole new level to my thinking as far as groups, teams, preparation, because that was just as intense as sports. We had a band director called Prof. Edwards, George Edwards, the famous George Edwards. Unfortunately, he passed away right now. Rest in peace, Prof. Edwards. But Prof. Jones was a percussion instructor. I mean, those guys, they just showed me a whole level of preparation and excellence. And so that served me, once again, something that didn't have anything to do with athletics, that served me well when I got into athletics. And so, and I think that has been my edge throughout the years. A lot of people, they look down on well, he's in the band, and stuff like that. He ain't playing no sports and stuff like that. No. That experience is what perhaps gave him my edge throughout the years. And then because it's even traveling, like in the Storm, if you're in a Prairie View Storm, even now, you're going to travel. You're going to hit that road. You're going to travel. You're going to go city to city, performing. And in each stop, you're going to have to be at your best. That served me well when it came to basketball, because I had that same mindset when I'm putting teams on the road and we traveling, and be at your best at every stop. And so that was my experience with that whole band situation. And so it really served me well. But back to the story, how I got into coaching, or got interested in coaching, right at the end of my time at Prairie View, we had intramurals. Like every school, they have intramural sports. And so my fraternity, which is Alpha Phi Omega, A5Q, member of the time, and we had a team, and we were good too. And I helped started coaching by default, because the coach we had kind of didn't want to do it. And so I I'd be, and so we were pretty good, and we actually reached the championship of the intermediate finals at Prairie View back in like '87. And 87, 88 around that time. And we actually, we lost in the championship. But that experience, once I got a taste of that, I said, I kind of like this. I kind of like this. And so that led to me at least having an interest in coaching from that point on. And then when I got home, which is another story, short story, I went to volunteer because my volunteer at Moreland Branch YMCA. And so my fraternity, our particular motto is leadership, friendship, service. And so when I got home, I not only wanted to find a job because I'm broke again, but I said, let me give some service back to my community since I'm here. And so I was moved back in with my mom and dad down here, right down the street from school. Moreland Branch is right up the street. And so I said, well, let me go up here and get some service hours up there. And they assigned me a 10-year-old basketball team. And that was the beginning of that whole coaching. But we were terrible.
Coach,
you know, you walk in the wine side, they give you that list, like here's your list of kids and parents, you call them. And I call them, we got a little team together, and I got our little 10-year-old team. Well, we were 0-10. We 0-10. It wasn't about no little bit either. We were getting 50, 60, 70.
In Little League.
In Little League. At the YMCA, we were the worst team in the league. But here's the lesson. It's always about lessons. Life always about lessons. Here's the lesson. It taught me after that, you're going to have to go get you're going to have to go get some horses. You're going to have to go get your own kids instead of working off that list they give you, because that's the sign-up list. All mamas want their babies to play. So that's my baby list.
Yeah.
I couldn't work off my baby list. Now I got to go get some kids. And so I went, and the rest is probably history. I never lost after that. So.
Coach, but it's funny you say that, man, because my uncle, man, that I was talking about, Coach the Mavericks, shout out to Coach Darren Tillis, man. He always tell me that, man. I remember I used to coach, he always tell me about, he said, nephew, it ain't about the X and O's, it's about the Jim and Joe's. He said, you better go get some horses.
It's Jim and Joe's.
His motto is this. He said, hey, man, he said, if I got better players than you, he said, 9 times out of 10, he said, I'm going to win, man.
Yeah.
And he used to tell me that when he was coaching at ACC at Clemson, they used to coach against Duke and all them guys, you know, Elton Brand, all them guys. He used to be getting beat. I'm like, oh, what's going on? He's like, you see who they got?
We the players. We need players, and then it's real simple. You know. We all. I'm not gonna say great. I'm not a great coach, but I recognize talent, and you have to have talent. So, but X's and O's, you're not gonna beat me up on X's and O's, because coaching is coaching. But what you may have an advantage is your X may be better than my O.
Oh, I'll probably coach.
You know what I'm saying? And so, because like I said again, for an average team, you'll have to draw up a play, and we can all draw up plays. I can draw up 1,000 plays. We can draw up a play and try to get a bucket with a good player. But with a great player, the play is simply give him the ball and everybody get out the way.
Space him.
Get out the way. And that's the play. Give it to him. He's the best one, and let's isolate him. That's the play. So that's the difference between great players and good play. Good players, it's the Jimmy and Joe's, it's not the X's and O's.
No, Coach, Coach, man, I'm just gonna piggyback on you, man. I remember, man, when my first year, man, shot the Hollywood Nick Smith. I remember I was coaching Coach Smith my first time.
Shout out Nick.
In 04, and we I probably had pretty good squads when I had Suge and rest in peace, Gerald Frazier, just recently passed, what have you, but had the guys, we were pretty good. So it was funny, Coach, that what you said was every time I would drop a play with them, it would work, Coach. It's like I'm like, whoa, I'll go home and tell my wife. I said, baby, this play. I said, whoa, man.
Yeah, this is a great play.
Next year, Coach, of course how it goes.
Same plays,
but Nick,
no
like he's supposed to, move Suge them up the varsity. Matter of fact, Suge only play 1 or 2 games. We moved the rest of the guys, Gerald, Antonio up the varsity. So I had to go through guys who was on the freshman team. They were bench players. They were role players. So now they are starters now. So now, Coach, man, I'm drawing up the same plays, and I'm over there kicking the bench, kicking. They ain't working.
They don't work.
I'm like, what's when I used to run there for sure. Now run the play, Coach Mace, turnover.
Not different Jimmy and Joe's. That's all it's about. So that's why I always remain humble, because it's not about me. It's really about those kids.
Well, hey, man, you can tell we're having a great time on TaylorMade Hoops Coach's Corner. I'm here with Coach James Mays. Retired head coach and athletic director at South Oak Cliff High School. I always tease him Mr. 600. Mr. 600. Well, Coach, let me ask this, Coach. You kind of spoke of some of the people a little bit, but who are some of the people that had the biggest influence on you as a coach and as a leader, Coach, as far as administrative?
Okay, that's a great question. Well, first of all, my dad, obviously, like I mentioned, because he was so influential as far as exposing me to that side of the profession early. And so Coach Dyer, Coach Dyer gave my first job in DISD, and we worked together for 2 years here at South Oak Cliff. And that was the most educational 2 years as far as coaching that I was exposed to early. I was a young guy too. I was in my 20s. I was in my late 20s, and he hired me to be his assistant. And so he definitely was an influence. As far as admin, Mr. Wallace, Mr. Waylon Wallace, he was very influential. He gave me a chance back here at South Oak Cliff, hired me as a teacher coach. And so he was very, very influential as far as on that admin side. Rodney Cooksey is another guy who's very influential. He hired me in 2012 to be the athletic director. And I always give him credit. He's seen it before I did. Yeah. We kept losing football coaches consecutively here at South Oak Cliff because of the good job they was doing at the time. We lost Chris Gilbert. We lost J.B. Wallace, Chris Gilbert. We lost Kendall Miller, which is a big hit. But before Coach Miller, before we lost him to a better job, and all of the coaches took better jobs. It was an opportunity. Mr. Cooks saw it coming. He said, "Coach," he pulled me to the side one day. He said, "Coach, we may lose Coach Miller." I was the assistant AD at the time, and so he said, "We may lose Kendall Miller, and if he does, I'm gonna do something outside the box. I'm gonna hire you as an AD." And back then, it wasn't a common thing because the AD job was always tied to the football coach.
It was unheard of, Coach.
It was unheard of, yes. And so Mr. Cooksey had enough foresight and vision to say, "Well, Coach Mays, he's been here a while. He's stable. At least if we hire another football coach and we lose him, we'll at least still keep our AD." And that's how I became the AD. And sure enough, I was hired AD in 2012 when Coach Miller took the Lake Beach Centennial job. And then from there, we hired Coach Jones, Emmett Jones. Man, Emmett Jones, that dude right there, he was probably one of the most prepared, ready, focused coach that I had seen. And it helped me at that time. And after I had been in the profession for a while to watch and work with Emmett. And I knew we weren't gonna keep Emmett long. I said, this dude right here, he is good and he has a bright future. He's one of them young up and coming black coaches. And sure enough, about 3 years later, Emmett was gone. He accepted the job at Texas Tech. And so he was on that collegiate level. And he's doing wonderful today. Today he's at Oklahoma. He's an assistant at Oklahoma, making tons of money. So, but no, so that was my journey. And so even a quick, and I think the people need to know this. When I got the South Oak Cliff job, it was in 1999. I got the South Oak Cliff job. I wasn't the first choice. I got it by default.
I heard stories.
I got it by default. I was given the job because I was in the right place at the right time. We hired Dr. Terry as principal here, and he needed a new basketball coach. He wanted a new basketball coach. And so we were waiting on another coach, Coach Rob Wright. I'm gonna tell it all today.
Tell it all.
So we was waiting on Coach Rob Wright. He was working as an assistant coach with Tom Penders, who was at Rhode Island. And so Rob was out there. And so we just assumed, me and Coach Love, we was assistant coaches here. So me and Coach Love, we're assistants. Yes, we lose Rodney Reed from coaching. So it's me and Coach Love, we're holding the ship down until we get our head coach in. And we're anticipating and happy anticipation for Rob to come in, because Rob Wright was a hell of a coach, and
he was a man back then.
He was a man. Rob was a man, and so we're waiting on him to come. And so unfortunately, he wasn't able to come fulfill that role. And then, so we're in October. School had already started.
School started.
School already started. So we're deep into the school year. We can't hire nobody.
Who go get out their contract?
We can't. You can't hire nobody. He's gone, and in fact, I'm gonna tell this too. Rob is a stand-up guy.
Oh.
He is one of. He told me and Coach Love around September.
I heard that story.
He kind of figured that he wasn't coming, but he kept it so 100 jobs and he's so down for us. Me and Coach Love. He said, "Well, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna just wait a little bit longer before I tell them I'm not coming, so they won't have a choice but to hire one of y'all." Yeah, and so October, Rob told him. It's 3 weeks before practice. Rob told him. He told Dr. Terry, God rest his soul. I probably wouldn't tell the story if Dr. Terry was still here, but he told Mr. Terry, Dr. Terry, that he wasn't coming. And so Dr. Terry was disappointed because Rob was his guy.
That was his guy.
Yeah, he loved him, some Rob.
Okay.
So, but Dr. Terry, and so then they looked at the situation, and it's just being prepared and right place at the right time. Me and Coach Love were assistants. Coach Love at the time, he wasn't certified.
Okay.
And at the time, I was certified. And so they came to a decision. Well, we'll give it to Coach Mays because he's certified. Okay. Not that I was a better coach and nothing like that. Because Coach Love, he was a hell of a coach. And we were both grinding, and we was on that path. Yes, both was going to be head coaches. It was just a matter of time. And so they gave it to me by default.
Yeah.
And so, but what happened was, and I don't know if it was like, let's give it to him as a temporary thing or what, but what happened was from that first year, I had hit it and was hitting home runs some day. When that first year we was 24-5-1. No, excuse me, we were 24-5 first year out.
So you had showed Coach that you just wanted to play stuff.
Yeah. I was finna do this.
But you never know what sometimes administration intentions may be.
Right.
I just want this young dude to hold you down till I get a more not necessarily qualified experience, like Rob Wright.
Because I was only 33.
Ooh,
I was just 33 years old.
You know how youngsters like that back in the day for coaches.
That don't happen. And so I was 33 years old, and they gave me the job at the South Oak Cliff High School.
Yes, sir, Coach.
And so with expectations way up here, so
yes.
And that's when the pushback came. Why did they give him a job? I'm talking about some people in the community, not all.
Yeah.
But why did they give him a job? He ain't never played sports, or he was a band, he was in the band. Why they give that whole type of thing?
24-5, take that.
Yeah. So 24-5 right out the gate, and then like I said again, for next year regional finals. We finally break through in 03. We get to a state state tournament. We lose to Dunbar in that semifinal game. But I had hit it since day one, and that's why the wins. You got to excuse that bell. But that's why the wins start stacking up early and quick.
Oh, okay.
I mean, talking about 25 win seasons, 30 win seasons, back to back, yada yada yada, and it kept stacking. And so that was the whole deal on that. But I was never the first choice for the soccer guy.
Hey, I just want to let the viewers know, Coach, because we do this to educate folks, the young coaches and also the players and parents. But to the young coaches, listen to what Coach just said: being prepared. Meaning to take care of your business, not just for the coaching aspect we always do, but for it's like we know in the state of Texas that you got to be certified. So making sure that you're certified, that you handle your business as far as the classroom administrative side. So when the position do present itself, they might would have had to go with somebody else, coach, but they say, hey, he's certified, he's been here, what have you. So like you said, prepare. Always prepare. Sometimes we wait for the opportunity to happen, and then we don't be prepared. Sometimes it's we like, oh man, then you scramble, but you had already been prepared for this, coach.
And that's the deal. And I went through a very intense program, which is the AC program. I was in phase 10 in '92, and I was proud to take my test. Even back then, people was taking other people's tests. I wanted to take my own test, and I did, and I got 2 certifications. I got a high school certification, which was English. I got an English reading certification, and I got a K through 6 certification. So I got 2 certifications out of that program, but it was a very intense study. Shout out to Dr. Nell Ingram, and then she helped me get through that program. Oprah Jones Smith, they helped me get through that program. Yeah.
Well, hey guys, as you can tell, man, we having a great time on TaylorMade Hoops Coach's Corner. I'm here with my main man, Coach James Mays, as you can tell, man, it's just like we're just sitting at the barbershop, just chopping it up, man, just talking a little history, going down memory lane. Coach, let me ask this: who are some what did you love the most, Coach, about coaching when you coach? What you love the most about coaching?
Relationships with the kids, uh, parents on some instances. Our parents are not a pleasure to work with, but just those relationships with the coaching staff. You know, I had some great coaches. You made mention a while ago on those state championship years. We had that was my best coaching staff. We were all young, hungry. We was going to get it. Anthony Sorrell, Derek Strickland, Coach Relo was rolling with us. And so we had a real tight coaching staff, and those type of things, the relationships. That's what I'm on.
And I always tell folks that they always ask me about that as far as, not coaching, what I miss about it. Coach, it's that part as far as, like you say, just hanging out with your coaching staff, with the fellow coaches, just, sharing ideas, just, people don't understand, man, it's just a great life sometimes being a coach, being in that realm. It's a fraternity. There you go. Especially in the DFW Metroplex, Coach. We support each other.
We're real close. We support each other.
We're going to whoop up on each other, Coach, but afterwards, we're going to go have a drink.
We don't try to beat each other head in. But after that, we support him. He was last man standing. We all get behind him and support him.
Oh, yeah.
So it's no hate between Dallas coaches and all like that. It's all love.
Coach. Well, Coach, let me ask this, Coach. Coach, share with me 3 of your most memorable coaching moments. I know you got a lot through your 30 plus years, but what are 3 of your most memorable coaching moments, Coach?
Great question. Number 1, the first time we qualified for the state tournament in 03.
Okay.
All right. That month. 2005, the first time we win a state championship. That's that Darrell Arthur, Kevin Rogers, Jarrell Hastings, Fred Gibson. That's that team right there. And then the third most memorable moment is the 08 championship game. We was down by 11 points with 4 minutes left on the clock for a quarter. We down by 11 points. We were supposed to lose, but we came back. We won a state championship, man. That was Jameson Morgan, Bobo, Brandon Jones, Ty Shaw. That was that group right there.
And man, I'm just gonna tell you, man. Ben, you always know this, but man, I used to love, man, whenever you used to go, just rolling down there, y'all was going to state championships, man, because it was an experience, man. And my wife, she's a big basketball fan. That would be our trip, man. Every March, we knew South was gonna be down there, man. We're going down to state championship, and we're gonna be sitting in the stands. And you know how women are. They may not be worried about as far as what's on the court. They look at the other stuff. She say, "Boy, them coach from shots, they sure is clean. Look at Coach Man got that white shoe on." Yeah. You know I'm gonna say that. But people look at stuff like that. That's why I always remember what Coach Goldie Johnson always say, man. He say, you feed your kids good, you feed them good, man. You have them look good. They gonna play hard for you. Look good, they play good. He say you gotta feed them. You gotta feed them.
I say that's true.
No, man, but now, Coach, I just love going down there, Coach, man. Like you say, every year, man, watching y'all compete or what have you, man. Those are some great times, Coach. Great times. Well, Coach, man, let me ask this, Coach. Coach, share with us three of your proudest accomplishments as a head coach and athletic director.
Real simple. I'm proud of the guys that we were able to have a part in getting them into school.
Okay.
Hundreds of D1 guys, even the small college guys, the JUCOs, the lower levels. Just getting those guys in school. That's a proud accomplishment right there. Another proud accomplishment is having the guys excel in other things but basketball. A lot of my kids, some of my kids were valedictorian. One year I had the Val and the Sal in the same year. I had Frank Byers.
Frank, yes, sir.
Yeah, Frank was the valedictorian that year, and Orlando King, he was salutatorian, and 2 basketball players, unheard of. Sidney Owens, he's another salutatorian South Oak Cliff basketball player. Those academic performances off the court, I'm most proud of those. I don't have any individual accomplishment I'm proud of, but just as a group. And, the last thing is being able to be a part of many guys on our coaching staff, either getting head coaching jobs, Leading the way is Coach Lyndon Love, obviously. Sid Patterson, that was over at Lincoln. He won a state championship. Those guys proud of, and a few more that was on his staff. Coach Booker, who's over at Rowlett, he served on our staff for a year too. So those guys, and then also the guys that went into administration.
I was just about to say that.
So
Coach
the Derek
Strickland,
Stricklands and ATs and stuff like that, and the other guys. I'm proud of their accomplishments because I feel like we had a part in helping them get there, and just to watching that develop. That was a pleasure for me, just seeing that success, to be honest.
No, Coach, and I tell people all the time, Coach, that's what's most gratifying. It ain't about, like you say, Coach, we've been blessed, like you said, to have great players and play a part in those guys' success, what have you, but it's not about the guys and coach that played in college professionally. What's most best thing for me is, like you say, when you see kids that you coach, and you see them out in public coaching. Now they tell you they remember you. Now they great husbands, they great fathers themselves.
And several of them are coaches, head coaches now.
See what I'm saying, Coach?
So that kind of stuff. Alan Walker just got the head coach job at Corsicana.
Corsicana doing a great job too.
And he's a preacher also. So you know what I mean? That kind of stuff. When I look at that, it makes it just like the Bible say or song say, it just makes you feel like your living is not in vain.
It's not in vain, Coach.
It's not in vain.
No. I told somebody the other day, Coach, man, I feel so good. People always ask me why I'm always a good spirit, because when you finally realize that what your purpose is, what you finally discover what your purpose is, and you're able to walk in your purpose,
that's a blessing, man.
Coach, that's a blessing, man.
Because a lot of people don't get to walk like that through life. They live a whole life without a purpose. So I knew what my purpose was early, and then to be able to walk in it, was blessed to look at it and experience a lot of it. That for me, that's very satisfying. Very.
No, same here, Coach. I tell people that for me to be able to recognize that and do that, and like you said, I discovered, like you say, Coach, that hey, that we in the business of people business, of helping people. I call it like Coach Calipari, you say all the time at Arkansas, hey, I'm a dream chaser. Trying to help these young men, young women try to fulfill their dreams. That's what we trying to do, Coach.
Leadership, friendship, service.
There you go. There you go, Coach. Well, hey, man, for the viewers just tuning in, the TaylorMade Hoops Coach's Corner. So happy to have Coach James Mays on, retired head coach and athletic director at South Oak Cliff High School. You see me hanging out here, man, over here in Marcellus, baby. We over here in the hood, baby, in the trenches. But hey, it's home. It's home to us, man. Home to me. Coach, let me ask this, Coach. What are you gonna miss the most about coaching?
Just the grind, preparation. Assembling groups together every year, trying to figure out the plan to make the groups play together to get the most out of them. That type of stuff you're gonna miss. I'm already starting to miss it. That type of thing. That's a big part of why I enjoy coaching.
Oh, that was said the strategic part of coaching.
Yeah, the strategic. The work, the grind.
That battle, huh?
Yeah, it'd be hard to replace that.
And most people who never coach, they don't understand that what coach is saying. It's like you said, basketball has always been. That's why he's been good, because he's always been working year round. Now you got these new age coaches just started working year round, but we've been doing it. But Coach Mays understands that, hey, at the end of the season, now it's time to turn that page over. Now, like you say, this is part he's missed about the grind, about looking at what we got coming back.
Right.
What we might need. Yeah, put the pieces together. Put them chess pieces together, Coach. No doubt, Coach. Well, Coach, let me ask this, Coach. What do you want your legacy to be, Coach Mays? How do you want your influence to be remembered on and off the court, Coach Mays?
Just a guy that got the most out of what God gave him. A guy that helped people. A guy that worked hard. That's what I hang my hat on. Nobody's gonna outwork me. You may get it done, but you're not gonna outwork me. I'm gonna put in that. I want to be remembered for that, because I think you need a body of work that ties into working hard to get it.
Okay.
And that translates to other people throughout.
Okay.
Because it's no quick fix to do this. It's no magic wand. The secret is hard work. And you gotta work hard to get that done. You gotta work hard.
And there's some Coach Mays that, like you said, that helps people in all aspects of life of their hard work, like you say. So we're gonna talk about that later on. But in next endeavor, what you got going on, Coach, that's gonna serve you well because you work hard. I always tell Snoop that when I see Snoop out in the tournaments and stuff like that, man, he always laughs. He always see me. I said, Coach, I said, Snoop, ain't nobody going to work. He started like, he said, ain't nobody going to work. Tell him, I said, ain't nobody going to work. Maybe people doing it better, have more success or what have you. But at the end of the day, they can say what they want to about me, Coach. One thing they can say, hey man, that big head dude, he work, man.
You can't outwork.
You can't outwork.
You may have better athletes.
You ain't gonna be out there working.
You ain't gonna work. You better work.
You better work.
You better work.
You better work.
I know quite a few guys. They built teams because they knew what they was going to have to face up, and that to me, it wasn't an offensive type of thing. It was a compliment because if you don't work, you're gonna have to see us.
You're gonna have to see SOP.
Yeah,
yes, sir.
To see us, and so and I think a lot of us around here, the DFW, we took on that mindset, and what happened? What was the residue from that? It raised the level of basketball in this area to a high level, to what it is now, because we all got the message early that if you don't work, you're not gonna be able to compete. And all of us took on that. Farron over there at Lancaster, that dude right there, he is one of the most relentless workers. Him and that staff over there, they do a hell of a job over there. And Coach Peavy and them at Duncanville, that whole legacy over there, relentless workers, the Kimball legacy, starting with Goree, Coach Brown, to be honest, going back in the day.
No, you
Coach
went way
Brown,
back. You went way back in the
Coach
coach.
Tubbs,
Coach
I can go through the coaching tree. Snow, Goree, Snow, now Nick, they work. They work for that success because it's just not gonna fall out of a tree. And so I'm just most proud of that I was a part of that in some type of way. Is try to raise the level of basketball in DFW.
Man, and that's why I always tell folks, man, no matter where I go, where God take me, and people always ask this, I'm always gonna be a proud product of DISD for us, graduating, playing ball, high school, ball, skyline for Coach Mayo on the, coaching. It's always gonna be my roots because that's Coach, this word, like you say, man, where I got my start, where I got my foundation to be, to be a great coach. Being around guys like you. I started in the district coaching in 2002 with Rob Wright. So you think about, seeing your success, seeing Go Reed, the tail end of Go Reed success, seeing Snoop success, seeing all those guys where I just, to be honest, Coach, I always was the youngest guys hanging around you older guys and what have you. And I just used to cherish it. But the thing was, I was around it, so I saw greatness. So, I didn't know no other way, Coach, to be honest, Coach, but to do it this way. Because, in life, sometimes when you see people doing things, you look at people that's successful, that's already doing what you're doing, and that's who you steal from. So I'm looking, I'm like, okay, man, but what makes Coach Mays so successful? You see his teams, they play hard. They coach them hard, they play hard. So, everybody had kind of had this same thing. Even when Farron, before, he went to Lancaster, when he was at Madison, man, kids, man, played hard, man. It's just something about the Coach Bishop, man. You guys, one thing about them guys played hard and they were coachable and they were disciplined. Where we get some of the coaches would say, trust all these man, because they got talent. Now, Coach Bishop had a system that 1-2-2. That was a system, homeboy. It was hard to play against that 1-2-2.
So talent was a part of it. Obviously, we were talking about Jimmy and Joe's, but to be honest, if you have it and you don't put the work in, then it's
you gotta have a system, Coach.
Yeah, it's for naughty anyway.
Well, hey, as y'all can tell, guys, we real excited over here, man. Me and the legend, he's gonna teach me about that. He's gonna say, I don't know about the legend, but I got Coach Mays here, former head coach at South Oak Cliff High School, and also former AD here. Coach, let me ask this, Coach Mays. Any advice for young coaches? First, of course, I want to ask you for sharing advice. Any advice for any young coaches as far as how to establish a championship culture in your program, Coach? What are some pointers you can give them on that, Coach?
Well, obviously, what we talked about, you got to work hard. You got to have a hard work ethic. You got to establish discipline.
Okay.
If you don't have discipline, nothing that you do is going to work. You got to hold kids accountable. You got to make sure you do not sell your soul to parents, to the community. You can't sell your soul. And what I mean by that is have some principles, have some standards, and stand on it.
Mhm.
Stand on it. If you start compromising principles and standards, then you're going to find yourself all over the place because you're going to be doing things for other people other than what you feel like you need to be doing for yourself in your program.
Okay.
And so to get some consistency in your program, you're going to have to stand on something. And so those are the things I did to establish culture. It's some people are going to be rubbed the wrong way on the outside, and that's fine. But the thing about it is, at the end of the day, you're going to be held responsible. And so if you go, or if you have to go, and thank God I wasn't in that situation, but if you have to go or you're being pushed out, you're going to leave on your own terms. And as a man, you can live with that. As a man, I'm talking man stuff now. I'm talking about human being stuff, talking man stuff. And you can stand on that. If you did things the way you felt need to be done and they were right, then if you have to go, you can live with that. So just establishing culture. Yeah.
Well, let me ask this, Coach, because man, you're a walking thesaurus, Coach. Give the young coaches some advice as far as professionalism on and off the court. And what I mean by that, Coach, as far as on and off the court, as far as you talked about a little bit as far as dealing with administration and dealing with the community, as far as professionalism on and off the court, Coach. What's the things?
The thing about it, you got to educate yourself in a lot of different areas.
Okay.
And so don't be pigeonholed in just basketball.
Okay.
Like one thing I pride myself on, even till this day, is to be knowledgeable in more areas, many different areas. Because you never know where you're going to need that information. You never know if you're going to have to meet with an admin, the district upper admin, other coaches, other schools. A lot of times that I get phone calls from other coaches across the state, across the country. A lot of times asking, what do you do with this situation? What do you do with that situation? And because I've been exposed to so much, I can speak on it. Because of the knowledge. And so I don't pigeonhole myself into just basketball. I have to be well-rounded. And one instance is that I had to make sure that I had to do that is especially when I became AD, because I'm not just speaking on basketball. Now South Cliff has 15 sports that we offer, 15 different sports, not just basketball. Basketball is just one. I got 14 other sports that I got to care for. I got to look after. I got to guide. And I got to direct. And so I got to make myself knowledgeable in just those areas of sports. But then on the outside, being an AD, I have to look at things like bond, finance, architecture, building projects, uniforms, transportation, communications, you name it. I have to deal with. And so just keep educating yourself, read as much as you can. I'm a former English teacher, reading teacher. I guess I always will be. And so I read a lot. I read an extreme amount on some things. One of my favorite subjects is politics. I can talk politics with just about anybody. And so I know what's going on because politics affects education. What we do here, what's coming down the road. You have to have the vision. You have to have the knowledge in just that different areas. I'm not a big fan of politicians. But you still have to deal with them, because they play a major role and have influence in what we do, which is education. And so those type of things like that, I tell the young coaches, you got to do that. Continue to educate yourself. Go to the coaching clinics. Go to the conferences. Present if they ask you to. Okay. A lot of different things that you have to do as far as a young coach to do it. And then also work on your interpersonal skills. Your socialization skills. You have to talk. You got to be able to communicate, especially with parents. In this era that we're finna get ready to go through, this new NIL era, you better learn how to communicate and communicate effectively. Effectively. You have to have a handle on social media. You have to have a handle on it because that's important. That's what drives our business now. You have to have a presence on that. It's a lot of different things that you're gonna have to do as a young coach to be successful for the long term. I'm not talking about short term.
Talk about long term.
Long term, for the long haul, to be successful. So those are things I would tell young coaches.
You kind of spoke of a coach, and if you want to elaborate a little bit more, that'll be fine. But far as what is your advice for us, the coaches? You spoke as far as professional development, as far as learning their craft. I know when we came up, coach, it was a lot different. Where working camps was the thing.
Right.
Work SMU camp with Coach Tubb, and going down. So I know things have changed, the dynamics have changed. But what are some ways you feel that these young coaches still should be working on their professional development, working on their craft, coach?
Right. Well, camps was a big thing back in our day, not so much now, because things has transitioned over to a lot of individual training, smaller groups, and so those type of things just play a part in that, and keep up with what's going on that type of scene, the individual trainers and hooking them up with the right players, make sure the kids are being trained right.
Okay.
So that type of thing, the coaches they got to make sure they stay up on that type of thing. That's about the transitions that I will make. It's some other things that I won't speak on, but you're gonna have to get because this environment is gonna be crazy. Pretty soon, NIL is going to be in the high school level. It's already here, but it's just not said.
There you go, coach.
It's not said. A lot of things that we traditionally haven't done have been done, and that's real. That's real. Kids are going to move around. The UIL right now, they are doing their best to make sure they keep a cap on it, and they should by right, because if not, things can get out of hand real quick. It could be wild, wild west around here, and so those type of things, you got to stay up on that. You got to stay up on your rules. Know the UIL Constitution.
There you go, coach.
Let me speak on that.
Please do, coach, for these young coaches.
Know the UIL Constitution. Know what you can and you cannot do. You got a lot of people in the public, they outspeak on things, people on the outside of our business. Well, why come they want their kids do that? Or why can't parents say, it's their kid, why can't? It is rules.
Black and white.
And you learn these rules. This is the game that we play. And if we're going to play their game, you got to understand the rules, period. And so a lot of people, they're on social media a lot. They'll speak on things that they have no idea on. They have no clue, But I tell you one thing: if you go in that UIL Constitution and you read that and you understand what's in that, it'll govern you, and you'll stay in bounds on a lot of things, and you won't find yourself in front of a DEC committee.
There you go, coach. There you go.
That's just fact.
That's facts.
So it's red flags that are out there that people that are triggered.
Let's just say that, coach. There you go.
Certain inquiries, and so you have to understand these rules. A lot of these young coaches, they don't know the rules. I mean, they don't know simple rules on the PAPL. You got to understand this kind of stuff.
Or how many games you play.
How many games
stuff
you play.
like that.
The game limits and stuff like that. That stuff is burnt in my mind. I know y'all can just rip it off. But like I said again, we were raised like that and prepared like that as coaches. But I don't think enough preparation is going in to that end of it as much as it is the other end, the training, the games and stuff like that. But it's a business part of this game.
It's a business part, coach.
It's a business part.
Yes, sir.
And that don't not only apply to the coaches, admin, but that applies to the players. They have to understand it. Now, if they're making this money available on the next level, college collegiate level, if you're going to be having the opportunity to make this money, get this bag, you're going to have to, at least what makes common sense to me, be financially literate.
Know that the money's being taxed.
Yeah.
Know when you get $2 million, it ain't $2 million.
You got to be. You got to be educated on taxes. You got to be educated on what should I do with this money, investments. You got to be. It's simple bank accounts and things of that nature. You have to be educated, and I think we're sending kids off that are not prepared to deal with this, and before you know it, they get the bag, but they lose the bag.
And we wonder why.
But like I said again, it's a whole lot of stuff that the young coaches that are more than I ever had to deal with when I was coming up, or just a different set of circumstances they have to deal with, that they got to get themselves prepared to, because now you got to educate yourself, because you got to educate your players, you got to educate your parents. And so everybody have to know what's going on. So it's a lot that goes into it. So that's some of the things I'll tell young coaches as well.
And one thing that you said, Coach, man, is that you got to understand that these parents, these players, everybody's looking to you for the answers. They're looking at Coach Mays, Coach Taylor for the answers.
You are the advisor.
You're the advisor.
You're the advisor.
Knowingly or unknowingly, you're the advisor.
You're the advisor.
Yes, they're going to come talk with you. They'll come talk with you. Well, hey, everybody, appreciate you guys tuning in to TaylorMade Hoops Coach's Corner. Once again, I got the great James Mays, head coach and athletic director at South Oak Cliff. We're just chopping up, just talking about his career and finishing up talking about advice for young coaches. Coach, let me ask this, man. Coming down to the last question, man. Been a great time spending with you always, Coach, man. But let me ask this. What everybody want to know, man. What are you gonna do with all your free time, Coach Mays? Will you still be involved with basketball in any capacity, Coach Mays?
Yes, not extensively, because like I said again, I'm gonna get some rest.
Okay. Coach,
yeah, I'm not gonna live in gyms in the spring and the summer, so that's the first thing.
Okay.
But I'm on the Dallas Mavericks High School Coaches Council.
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm gonna still continue to work with them. So I'm gonna do some grassroots things with them, some camps and stuff like that. So I like that group. They are very influential in this area. GID, whether you know it or not, that influence basketball on the grassroots level. So I'm gonna continue to work with them, camps, training sessions and stuff like that. Maybe some speaking opportunities if they come up. I'm always open to that.
Mm-hmm.
So I do that, and I probably 9 times out of 10. I mentioned business earlier when I went to Prairie View. That was my course of study.
Mm-hmm.
And I was actually got a finance degree. So I was trained in business finance. And so my first job when I graduated from Prairie View, when I came back here, I was hired by First Investors. It's a securities firm that was out of New York. So they First Investors of New York. And so I was a stockbroker. I was a stockbroker. And so I got my stockbroker's license, my insurance license. And so I traded and I sold insurance for a while. When the stock market crashed, and here's the story real quick.
Yeah.
When the stock market crashed, that was the fall of '89. I graduated spring of '89. I was working. Stock market crashed in October '89. And I was let go. All right. I was one of the youngest stockbrokers in the office.
Yeah.
And so last in, first.
You know how I go, old school. How you go, Coach? Yes, sir.
Stock market. I mean, things is bad. And so that's what drove me to teaching.
Wow. Okay.
That's how I started.
You want something more sustainable?
Yeah. Well, the thing about it, like I said again, I'll probably go back to looking into trading.
Okay.
And so it's an opportunity.
Oh yeah.
And I can work for myself.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So with retirement and that, so things are looking good. So 9 times out of 10, I probably end up somewhere in the financial field. And I have thought about just sports admin, athletic admin, without the coaching. Coaching is pretty much never say never, but coaching is pretty much well done on that side. But admin, I take a look at opportunities with that. I have some opportunities come up, and we'll take a look at that. But for right now, get a lot of rest, enjoy this time off. I had too many days that I'm going to lose because I never use them. So.
Oh man. Okay.
I had close to 200 days in the can. I had almost 200 days. So I won't ever use that many. My last official day is in May, at the end of May.
Yeah.
And I'll be officially retired. But those days that I left on the table, they're gone. So, but and young coaches take some days off.
Yeah, they're your days.
Yeah, use your days. Don't be like Coach Mays. With almost 200 days left on the table that you won't get paid for.
Yeah.
They'll pay me for some, but most of them I'll lose. But use your days, get your relax. The biggest regret I had was I didn't stop and enjoy the ride.
Because you're too busy working.
Because I was too busy on the grind. So I should have stopped a little bit more. And I should have hung out with Snoop a little bit more.
The crew,
when I did that, we always had a good time.
Oh man,
I was Snoop any day, man. But I should have took more time to enjoy the ride. use some of those days.
But you know, with Liz Coach Mays, man, we laugh, but seriously, with Liz Coach, we just came up with our parents, Coach, where we came up with that mentality, that grind, where you didn't take days off. You know, you work hard. Where your family, you know, my mom still looks at me to this day and gets mad at me. I'm like, Mom, you was one to provide for me to have me the opportunity to be able to teach and coach. But she gets mad at me that we always out. Y'all always out. You don't never go to work. I'm like. Okay, this is the first that you pushed for me to do. So
I got in and I'm taking advantage of it. So, and it's something else. But you know, like I said again, it's something else. Take your days and stuff like that, and just enjoy those moments when you do achieve a level.
Okay, that's cool.
Enjoy those days. You know, my grind, why I did it so much, I believe, is because from day one, I felt like I had something to prove.
You know, your situation, people saying that,
people talking and
so you had
stuff
to
like
overwork.
That. And my expectation was already up here as
they didn't understand, yeah.
Yeah, and then you put their expectations on mine. I'm like, I'm gonna show these motherfuckers. You know, I'm gonna show them, and that was always been my grind. And my head stayed down, and I worked. You know, almost like a sheep eating grass. I'm just working. And I never looked up and say, wow, look how far. And let me enjoy this.
How far they came.
Yeah, I didn't do that enough. Now, my later coaching styles, I did. I did. This, my more recent coaching styles, I took a time out to focus a lot on that with them. You know, my we followed my great dude.
Yes, sir. Yes,
we followed, you know, showed me another level of, you know, just enjoy. And that's the youth. And Coach Graham, like the old guy on the staff, who's got a lot of wisdom. He taught me how to enjoy. Stop for a minute every once in a while. It's okay to go get a drink after you can put some grind in with the group, you know, stuff like that. So because I never did hardly lean into that, and I'm a loner anyway.
You are, Coach.
See, I don't have a
circle. You don't.
You know, and it may have served my detriment later on in my career. Because, like I said, you got to have formal relationships, especially when you trying to learn the access to the kids and stuff like that. So you know, and it's, you know, it's so big. You know, it is what it is.
You did your way, Coach.
But like I said again, the grind that I was on, it proved successful. So you know, and it's not about I did it my way. I did what I thought was right.
Okay.
Did what I thought
there you
was
go,
right.
Coach. Thanks for clarifying. There you go.
You had seen Coach Mays in front of DCs trying to explain this, trying to explain that, and all that kind of stuff, and not saying that others, you know, they did things that they put themselves in position, but I didn't go that road, and like I said, I'm proud of that too. You know, I'm proud of that too. Not too many bad things to speak on that.
Oh yeah. And you know that, man, and everybody know this, man. When you have success, Coach, hey, they come. You gonna have the doubters, you gonna have the haters, and sometimes they gonna come through your program and like a little microscope or what have you, man. So
and that's the business too.
That's our business.
And I accepted that early.
You did, Coach.
I accepted that. I'm not tripping on if you're not a Coach Mays fan or you ain't that's fine.
That's fine.
I understand that because as a fan, a professional sports fan, I have the same complaints about other teams or teams that I like and stuff like our hometown team. Why y'all doing? So I understand that if they got to deal with it, I'm gonna have to deal with it. And so, like I said again, but like I said, for all of those that are non-Coach Mays fan, that's okay. But then it's a lot of guys out there have supported me in what I was doing and appreciate the fact that what we did. I tell you one thing. You can say that band stuff and all they want to not enough extensive background and playing sports and that other thing on the upper level, because it did play, it just didn't play on those highest levels other than baseball. But I did pretty good.
You did, man, Coach. I'm just saying though, Coach. Look, you want a lot of guys, but who played professionally, they had all this coaching background, so I
guess in the end, it really don't matter that background or not. It's about the knowledge and the grind that you put in, and you being put in position to be successful. Which I think I was always in a position, but then in preparation, being able to be prepared, so when the opportunity comes, you can accept the opportunity and you run with it. That's what I did. I just seen a ball that was fumbled. I picked it up. I didn't fall on it. I picked it up and started running. Still picked it running and made a couple of touchdowns.
It's something that you said, Coach, man, is very true, man. Just because a lot of guys, this is for people that's just looking to be coaches, what have you. Some of your greatest coaches, we know, never played, never coached, things that sort, or what have you. So that's not a big thing. The thing that I took from what Coach May says in your coaching journey, Coach, is that no matter what situation you was in, you took something from it and used that to help you in coaching, unknowingly back then. Like you say with the band, people don't understand, man, being a band, you got to be prepared, man. Like when you drive by, sometimes you see the kids out there, man. Hey, man, you got to be prepared, man. I mean, you can't miss it. No, you got to be prepared. So that preparation, like you say, Coach, gave you the advantage over somebody who so-called may not played in the band with it, because they haven't experienced that type of discipline.
Right.
You know, they haven't experienced that type of showmanship when, like you say, where you going to perform and you got to be at your best every time.
You have to.
So that trickled down to when you came to coaching.